Today we'll be diving into some of the gaming coins here that could 10x in the next bull run. So without further ado, we're going to dive into it. Now, this is not financial advice. This is informational purposes only. I'm your host here, Kyle Wilson. And yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So today we'll be diving into a little bit of research, some light research. We're not going to go super deep, but we're just going to be taking a look at the macro and overall market here in the gaming category. First of all, we have Immutable X. Now, Internet Computer, I'm not sure why it's under the gaming category, but I guess it is. But anyways, Immutable X has done in the last year all the way up to $1.55 and is basically corrected all the way down to 51 cents and has rebounded to 69 cents. And what we're seeing here is not too big of a surprise. We were one of the first channels in the entire YouTube space to talk about Immutable X. And yeah, we've been covering that one in detail, and you can see it's been doing pretty well during this kind of like mini bull run. And I expect it to do well long term as well. But one thing with Immutable X is the token unlocks. Now, that could have some potential impact on the price. They recently delayed till next year on the like bigger token unlocks, so that's something to be aware of next year. Now with Sandbox, it is one of the older OG metaverses, and it was over almost $1, 91 cents here. It's corrected down towards almost 29 and back up to 36 here, and that one could have definitely some room to grow as the metaverse hype continues. I think that's going to be one of the kind of not pillars, but somewhat of a pillar there in the gaming space, because Roblox, you know, those type of games and just kind of the demographics I think that Sandbox could go after could be massive. Not Roblox, but Minecraft, or both of those genres rather. So we know that Roblox and all that good stuff, they aren't really like pro Web3, and I could see Sandbox taking a lot of market share if Minecraft and Roblox continue down that path. But yeah, let's continue down the list here. Axie Infinity. Now we zoom back a year, they were above $12, which is absolutely insane. They're back down here, so they went all the way down to $4, and then they're around $5.45. Now this one could have a lot of potential here. Their IP is growing. Their developers over there in their ecosystem have taken IP and made their own games. Like you have these kind of indie developers developing like more simplistic games that have had like traditional like successful models in the past, and you're seeing these games being launched over there in the Axie Infinity ecosystem, which is pretty cool. And then of course, you know, Sky Mavis is ahead of Axie Infinity, is the studio behind it, and they also have the Ronin chain. So the Ronin chain I think could do really well as well moving into the next bull run as more games launch on the Ronin chain. Gala here, now this one has kind of started to recover. Now this one, you know, of course there's lawsuits around this, and their co-founders apparently suing each other, which was kind of bad press for sure. Not really good for the token to have that kind of news, but you know, long term, zooming out all the way, I think if Gala could be fine here as long as they continue to do what they do and put out solid games. Now, I'm not a super big fan of like some of these centralization aspects I've seen in their ecosystem, and it's not my favorite in terms of that, but you know, they are putting out Web3 games, and I could see them doing really well, kind of though starting to fall under the more Web 2.5 genre, but you know, hey, they still have a token here, and there could be gains to be made, so that's what's really kind of important if you're looking at this. So Gala at 0.01 cents here, and they were at the heights of, you know, looks like almost 6 cents. So yeah, lots of room to grow here, and not quite a 10xer, but they could, you know, if they could put out some bangers, some games, they could take back some of this market share. And let's go on the list here. ApeCoin. Now this one's going to be an obvious one, you know, none other than Yuga Labs and, you know, Basie. Now this is kind of separated from the Yuga Labs, you know, it's technically Ape DAO controlling the ApeCoin and kind of what's going on in the ecosystem here. But yeah, it could have a lot of potential for obvious reasons. They have some of the biggest names in the space that are holders of the, you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club and the token holders and what have you there. So this one ran up to $6, and this one's at $1.36 now, but this one definitely could, if it broke through a all-time high, this one could definitely send it, and this one you could see a potential 10x here. Let's keep moving down the list here. Alluvium was up massively to do in the last bull run due to their excitement around their game, apparently. Now this one went up. I don't even know if we can zoom out. We can see this, and maybe I'll start zooming out on the charts. But Alluvium, look at this, over 1,800, almost. Look at this, almost 1,900. Now just down to $55. So that's kind of like, duh, that one could 10x for sure. Now they do have token unlocks, so that's something you want to be aware of. Maybe I'll provide provide a resource down in the description below. But yeah, you can see here total supply 9.6 million. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. However, I used to work for Illuvium, just a kind of disclosure there. But yeah, you can see circulating supply almost 6 million. So there is a fair amount of tokens in circulation already. But this one has gone up 10% here in the last 24 hours. But yeah, look at that. That could benefit the token long run once they launch the game. And they have done quite a bit here in the short term as well. They're starting to hype up a little things. They're starting to see a little bit of activity around Illuvium. So kind of be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for Illuvium. But yeah, you can see here, not a whole lot of tokens. The supply is very, very small. And that's kind of the reason why you saw that big run up last time. Just not a lot of tokens to go around. Let's see, Floki. I know Floki's been kind of up and down. I haven't looked into the Floki ecosystem. I know that there might be games over there. I'm not 100% sure. Comment down below if you're from the Floki community and there's games over there, because I want to see them. Engine Coin. Now, this is one of the OGs here in the space. Now, I do believe, just given that they had some like developments going on over there, they like fully launched their mainnet again or something like that. So there has been activity on Engine Coin. I could see this one doing something better in the next bull run and having a little bit more excitement and hype in their chain if they can get some more games onboarded and more things happening over there. Let's take a look here at the all-time charts. They back in 2021, I mean, they almost went up to $4.50, it looks like, and now they're back down to 26 cents. So that one could definitely be a hot banger for sure, given again that they have the fundamentals down and start onboarding gamers into their ecosystem. I think their technology is pretty cool. It's like one of the first blockchains to really pitch like customizable NFTs and all kinds of stuff, if I remember right. And like they pitched the whole NFTs and games concept first. It kind of Wax, it was another one like that. Wax has actually pretty good games. Apparently they have gamers over there. Some of the people I've talked to from Wax community have actually were onboarded via Wax games before any other games out there. So they are kind of like the OGs in the space in Web3 gaming, so to speak. And they've had a couple of bangers on there on, they're not my genre. I don't play those games or anything like that, but I've heard kind of good things about Wax games. And now they have brought I think it's like Wrestle Brawlers or something like that to Amazon Prime. So you can actually go claim some stuff if you have an Amazon Prime account on Prime Gaming. So that was pretty neat to see as well. This one could be, this could have a lot of potential here. I know a lot of people sleep on Wax, but you want people to be sleeping on your investments while they're cheap, right? You want to have, cheap investments while people are sleeping on it. You don't want everybody to be knowing about this ecosystem. So keep an eye on Wax. I think we could see some potential here in the not so distant future from them. Their market cap looking around 201 million. So that one could definitely be a 10x banger there. Let's take a look at the overall market caps of the rest of the coins we reviewed so far. You can see there's potential there. You can see Immutable X at 162 million versus Wax at 201. And I really do think a lot of these tokens that we mentioned could definitely increase in volume. We've seen it before and we'll probably see it again. I really do think gaming is going to kind of decouple, if you will. And some of these ecosystems that support other types of NFTs as well could do really well. Merit Circle, here's one that's doing really well as well. is they've actually launched I think it's like their own, it is their own blockchain kind of on AVAX or Avalanche called Beam. So this is interesting. It's like a whole one-off solution for game developers to go into kind of the Merit Circle ecosystem. And they have like their own blockchain dedicated for games, basically. So they've kind of are trying to make it easy for games to be onboarded into Web3 without really thinking about it, and having your assets in their ecosystem. I think they're going to have like their own marketplace in Beam. There's just a lot of cool stuff. It's kind of like the Immutable X of Avalanche, so to speak. So that is definitely one that could see. You can see it's almost flipped Wax. So that's kind of why they've had a lot of general excitement around Magic. Haven't heard too much around Magic lately. I mean, they were kind of supposed to be like the Nintendo for Arbitrum, I believe it is, and haven't heard too much out of Magic lately. But that definitely could be one there. Now, this is not going to be on the top of my list. I'm going to definitely have Ronin right here above Magic if I had to pick. just because I think Ronin, given that they have had experience in the gaming Web3 gaming space already, they have a lot of IP and Axie and brand recognition around Axie. Everybody knows who Axie is in the space and beyond, even outside of crypto. They're like, what about Axie? Well, Ronin has definitely that kind of leg up on the rest of these kind of other tokens as well. So be on the lookout for Ronin. That's my kind of like little sleeper right there, or the like X Factor token that I think I could see doing really well. Now down the list here is where you start getting to more micro cap territory, under kind of that $100 million micro cap, or a market cap, if you will, where it starts to being like micro caps. Vulcan Forge, Echelon Prime. Echelon Prime is around Parallel, so you might have seen a lot of gamers talking about Parallel, the TCG game. They're building a studio and all kinds of stuff. So Echelon Prime definitely has done well. Now let's see how it can perform kind of short term as well. Can it continue? Price is starting to shave off a little bit, just because it is just kind of like a game and not a full-on studio just yet. I think Alluvium is down the road a bit more in terms of that, like, decentralized studios and what have you. So I do think that's why we'll see Alluvium be a little bit harder hitting in that area, kind of those decentralized studios, if you will. But definitely be on the lookout for Echelon Prime, though. They have like some top-notch AAA graphics, and they're always pushing the envelope. They have like AI they're messing with, all kinds of stuff like that. Now, Vulcan Forge is a bigger one that a lot of gamers have their radar on, and they have like a lot of games in their ecosystem. I believe this is kind of like a launchpad too, and that's another thing, is there's a few launch pads. I think Veracity is a launch pad, if I remember right. I know UFO Gaming was one. Now Miria, let's go ahead and talk about this one. This one is a layer 2, similar to Immutable X, but with nodes. So it's kind of like almost they're going that more decentralized kind of dynamic first out of the box, and that one could do well too. This one had 30% gains in the last week, and this one could dip back down if the market goes south again. So if Bitcoin touches 40K and goes back down, so kind of will the gaming category. You could see some of these tokens be nicer to pick up on the bottom floor. So that's something to definitely be looking out for as you see some of these kind of more solid tokens that are building. Miri has a book of games as well. So they've onboarded a lot of indie, game developers and things like that into their ecosystem. Similar to Immutable X, maybe not as high quality, but it's more like volume. And so they have like just a ton of games over there already. So that's something to be aware of around that. Now, Star Atlas is another one here. They released here at Breakpoint on Solana. Solana's been pumping, as you know, and Star Atlas makes up like 15-16%, give or take a few percentages of Solana, the entire Solana blockchain, because Sage, they're kind of like game that's on chain. Like any move you make, it's recorded to the blockchain, which is pretty insane. And they've updated that game and made it more like 3D with Unreal Engine assets. And their next update in their beta around their main game is going to have multiplayer mode. And they did like this crazy stress test with over 30,000 people in the same lobby. So Star Atlas says, look at that. It's absolutely pumped after that news, up 20% on the week there, leading up to Breakpoint. Now they've again, this could be one of those ones where it's an easy dip move if Bitcoin rejects 40K or something like that. Some of these tokens could be nice entries. Altura, that's an interesting solution here in the Web3 gaming space. I think that one will do really well long term. Just kind of a little bit of what I've seen over there. They've integrated, I think, with Unity as one of kind of the premier solutions over there. Immutable X was with Unity as well, and a couple other ones. But yeah, UFO Gaming could be one. I saw Elio Trades, and even kind of, I think Becker may have tried to promote this one a little bit too, not promote it, but talked a little bit about it before, and that's kind of like a launch pad, and it was kind of gonna be like, it's supposed to be like the meme, launch pad of Web3 games, if you will. So maybe that one's kind of like in the meme category, and that's where I'll kind of probably keep it. But that one has gone up. I think they were down to like 10 mil. Now they went up to like 25 mil, maybe more. Big Time went up massively when it got listed on Coinbase. This game I think will do really well well long term. And what they're building over there in general, like Open Loot. Open Loot has many games on their marketplaces, and that's pretty interesting. So they're becoming more of like a solution, is not just a game, but a solution for games with their Open Loot marketplace, that you already seeing other games use their actual marketplace. So it's kind of like an ecosystem. And I really do like Open Loot because they thought of the content creator side as well. So you can go in there, like apply as a content creator and sign up to promote some of these games if you're approved, of course. So it's kind of like they know what's up, right? And that's what I really like about Big Time. I do think this one is on the sleeper category. Again, if this one goes down, I really do think Big Time is one that's going to be around for a while. RFox is the metaverse. I haven't seen too much out of them lately. A lot of people like them. I just haven't seen too much from them, and so I don't really have an opinion on them. WAGMI Games, mobile game here, and we've talked about WAGMI Games. They were like little bitty. They tore and went up and went parabolic. They had a lot of good news. They were on a crypto show and all kinds of stuff like that. Those guys could always be sticking around. I definitely would like to see their game fully launched by now, but that one's kind of keep an eyeball on them. I would like to see them become more of a studio and kind of be like a publisher long term, but I think they have potential there as well. D-Race is an old OG racing game. I haven't played that one, but Becker, I think he's like an advisor on that one or something like that. So that one could do well in the bull run. Voltino, that's Jay Gagan coin. If you're from my community, you kind of know what's up. I don't know anything about Volt. I didn't even know they had games. I don't know why it's in the gaming category, but I guess it is. Burger Cities. Some of these coins I just never heard of before. Decentral Games is a gambling kind of... I think it's a gambling kind of ecosystem here, and they have some like gambling games or something like that. I'm not a big into gambles, but maybe if you are, you might like that one. There's a couple other ecosystems. I know Gala Games really launched like their own kind of gamble game. I forget what it was called, but I tested it. It was pretty good if you're into like card games and whatever. But again, I'm not big into that myself. I just like regular games. Step In, Move to Earn, so this could be really good. Kitty Inu, or what was it? What's his name on X is Jonah Coin. I should call that Jonah Coin. Game Swift. Now this one could do really well. I've seen people talk about Game Swift quite a bit on X. I saw KG Jan talking about that one, and I looked at their platform. It looks pretty premium. So that one could be one I look into more. I do need to dig into that one more. I've looked into it once though, but that's kind of rounds out like the tokens I'm looking at. And that's just CoinGecko. I mean, there's a lot of other games out there, and this is even on CoinMarketCap as well. So there's definitely more games out there that I do need to go over, but that kind of rounds it out for this video. I don't want to continue to ramble on, but it gives you hopefully a new perspective and a couple of products just to look at just for informational purposes, because none of this is financial advice, but you get what's going on here. And like the video if you enjoy the content, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video like this, and shout out to or comment down below some games you want me to cover in detail or look into. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.